podcast. It's been a long time since we met on this tiny podcast. But wait, you guys are aware that in Indonesia our culture has begun to disappear. Our way of dressing, which is influenced by one of the things, namely westernization. But about why so many Indonesians follow foreign styles starting from the way of the dressing, lifestyle, and others, where it creates pros and cons in Indonesian society. Well, therefore, in this podcast we will discuss them that is quite interesting, namely about westernization. For those who don't know, westernization is the act of someone who starts to lose nationalism by imitating or doing westernized activities. So the point is the attitude of wrongly imitating what culture is seen without prior consideration. Now, I often see on social media especially many people who dress very openly, hairstyles that are not like Indonesian styles, the shape of house that imitates foreign styles, until promiscuity has become a natural thing. I know the cause is because of this westernization. So indeed the cultural elements that are most quickly imitated are generally material culture, such as clothing, hairstyle, and others. But keep in mind that westernization is different from modernization. Modernization occurs more generally as a result of technological development, globalization, economic relations, and cultural interaction, while westernization appears as a form of application of Western culture. I often see many influencers, artists, even ordinary people there to implementing westernized style, such as lifestyle, food consumed, appearance, let alone behavior, and many people are indeed aligning with it. One of which is also due to globalization. Actually, it's okay because it's their life. Their right, we shouldn't be allowed to regulate it. But in my opinion, most of them are to upholding westernized style, such as normalizing clothes that are open or not in accordance with the norms, consumptive style approaching hedonism, especially to a free lifestyle. Actually, that is what I think is unethical because surely we have our own identity, namely the Indonesian nation, where the culture cannot be equated with outside culture. But the truth is that westernization has many positive impacts, but also has negative impacts as well. Westernization can be a threat to local culture identity, making us have an excessive lifestyle, have economic dependence, but on the other hand, with westernization, we can live more moderate. Why? Because Western nations are often called modern nations, so many imitate Western styles. Besides that, another positive impact is the improvement of the education system or access, as well as technological advance. So, westernization cannot be completely a threat to local cultural identity. So, westernization can be entirely good or bad. And its impact really depends on how a society or individual deals with it. It's also important to remember that westernization is not the only path to progress. In this context, education plays a very important role. With a good education, people can be wiser in choosing values that suit their needs and the times without having to sacrifice their traditional values. For example, many elements in Western culture are positive, such as human rights, freedom of thought, and technological innovation, which can be adapted and applied without having to abandon our own culture. Well, to end the podcast this time, I will give a conclusion that westernization is very impactful for the citizens of Indonesia. And many people still uphold the attitude of westernization in a way that is not good. Indonesia should still maintain its own culture, so that later the nation's own culture is not lost due to westernization. Even if you want to westernize, always stick to the values contained in Indonesian culture and without eliminating the culture of the culture itself. Okay, thanks for listening to my podcast. See you next time. Bye bye.